Marhaba. I'm Christopher Hibma, and this is Maharat, Producing in Unproductive Times by Atijahat Independent Culture, a series created for artists in the Arab region that celebrates creative producers and the skills it takes to make things happen. This week, we'll be talking about self-producing with Bashar Murkus and Kholoud Basil from Khashabi Theatre in Palestine. The first question to ask when self-producing is why? And the answer can vary. Maybe you want to build your artistic practice in ways that are uniquely your own. Maybe you want to learn how to collaborate better and experience the process from concept to project completion. And of course, maybe you just can't find anyone else to produce it. Self-producing can be a matter of artistic ethos. For some artists, self-producing keeps your practice aligned with your values, because you may feel that some institutional collaborations do not align with your own political beliefs or have a negative impact on its content. The first step to bringing any piece into fruition is making sure the work is the best possible version of itself. And this is where script development is key. If there's one thing I've learned while working alongside artists, it's that slowing the process down to ensure that the work is informed by healthy dramaturgy and development time is both necessary and liberating. Listen to drafts around a table with a group of actors. Ask for feedback from your mentors and colleagues. And then comes the actual process of producing. What are all the things you will need to do to turn the script that you have on your computer into an event? Who will you need along for the ride? Every project is different, but generally you'll need a line producer, your creative team, perhaps a company of actors, and your crew, technicians and stage managers. Your needs will vary from project to project. Next, you will need to build your budget and your timeline. We're dedicating 2 episodes later in the series about the fundamentals of budgeting and finding the funding, so for now, let's just focus on the timeline. You will need to imagine in detail every step from now to your first public performance. Fundraising, hiring your collaborators, casting your actors, identifying rehearsal and performance spaces, as well as promotion and marketing to the audience you want to attract. And now, create a spreadsheet of when you expect each of these to be accomplished. This way, you can hold yourself accountable and stay on track. Remember, things will always cost more and take more time than you initially thought, so build additional time and resources with that in mind. There's a link below for a sample project timeline from development to production. Finally, remember to stay true to your vision. Keep your goals front and center. Producing can allow you to call the shots, but it's also challenging and time-consuming work. Self-producing is a personal creative choice. While external funding or producing support may be scarce where you are, that alone is not a reason to do it. It's also expensive, it's risky, and requires tools that are challenging to develop. Self-producing is also going to be even more complex following the coronavirus because of limits to mobility and travel. For all these reasons, you should carefully consider your skills and feasibility of your project before doing it. But remember, there's no better way to develop this skill than to dive into producing your own work. Let's drop into a bit of our conversation. One of the things that we hope that this series will do is to encourage artists in the Arab region to think about the role of producing from the beginning of a process and not something that just gets sort of activated after the creative work has been, generated. If you guys can think back to those early days of Khashabi Theatre, can you share any sort of things you wish you had known to do back then, mistakes that you made, or what you now know that you try to do as you enter a creative process from the very beginning?
We were working since the beginning from our really instincts and love to do the things. I think at the first 3-4 years we didn't think. We really didn't think. Yeah, we didn't have the time. We were after university burning to do something, and we just went into our feelings and trust our body and feelings. Yeah. But now I am like, when I'm thinking about it, I'm so happy because we took a very, very important choices that I'm proud that we did it, because this experience that now it's almost 10 years, maybe a little bit more.
Amazing.
Now it learned me, and I'm sure that Khulud and all our group, that producing, it's really what creates meaning of art. Because you can make a very, very beautiful performance or play using a very, very bad money politically, and performing into in a very, very politically not good enough places to deal, and maybe you can try to open a very important topics in the wrong place. So what creates most of the meaning of any artwork, it's not just what we see or what we hear or what we watch on stage or in any different medium. It's really connected to how it was produced, using money, where, with whom, when. This questions of producing, yeah, it was a very important lesson that we discovered day by day working on Khashabi.
Well, I would like to add on what Bashar just said, because I think, and going back to your question, I would like to mention what we think we did right, and then mention it, and then I hope people could really follow, because we made a lot of mistakes. I don't know what good or what bad now, but I know that there are certain things that work. So continuing from Bashar, what Bashar was talking about is, like he said at the beginning, we didn't really think. We started to understand what we did and what we felt, and we first of all worked from here, and then the mind was connected to it, and then it came out into words, and then we understood that.
I love that.
That there, like, one piece of art maybe will change a man's day, but it won't change its life. The power to build the art as step by step, it's by producing it and have the control on doing it the way you want. If you do your work now in Haifa and the day after in Zimbabwe, and then there's something with your nation, because we want to say something here, because the war in 48 is about history and story and buildings that, like, we are connecting to the things that they are erasing. So we want to keep it exist. That's why we are in Wadi Salib. That's why we do theater. That's why we do stories. If you don't have your control on what you want to say, then don't do that. Don't do theater. Also in Arabic region, don't be part of the system. Any system. Like, do your own. It's hard. It's tough. It's sometimes you need to be without electricity. Sometimes you are without electricity if you are in the Arabic region, okay? But having the power, no one can tell you, like, having the power on producing, no one can take that from you, no one. What Khashabi did wrong, we didn't think of a big place that could include a lot of audience. Think financially also what can make things grow, and think of a small business that could support your artistic work. And also, after being an like NGO or whatsoever, I think that the worst thing is to think how we grow as an office. Like I see people they want to do art and then they have office and don't think of that. Don't think of being in the office. Think of doing, and then the office will grow the way you need, but not having after 2 years a big office and then you're sitting there and not doing what to do with this all financial stuff that you need to pay. It's money at the end of the day.
So Habashi, does it have a space, an office space?
It does. It's a small one, but it's a bigger. Yeah, it's a small one. It fits me and Bashar and 2 others, and we have the theater.
It's important to acknowledge that we're just scratching the surface here on all of these topics. There's so much more to know about producing your own work. I hope you enjoyed this conversation and feel inspired to produce your next project yourself. I invite you to watch my entire river conversation with Bashar and Khaloud at the link below. In our next episode of Maharat, we'll discuss budgeting your project with the resourceful American producer Mara Isaacs. Ma salama.